you guys know we're here to talk about the inner city connector, I-49. You've been running commercials. You've been pushing it. My whole point is, why is it taking so long? When we wanted that Barksdale connection to go into Barksdale off of I-20, the governor snapped his fingers and we got that thing done. Why can't we do that with this? Roy, you go first.
Well, I don't know, Aaron. I know that the governor can do it. He campaigned on it. He came to Shreveport and he campaigned on I-49, inner city I-49, and I plan to hold him to it.
Mr. Roy, couldn't it be because the Barksdale exit doesn't go through a black neighborhood?
Well, no, I wouldn't necessarily say that. I think there still is some political pushback, and in that particular area in Allendale, you have a strong community organization now that is behind this, which is, I'm going to say it, it's community renewal. And there's a lot of strong people in there. And I think that is where we has had to hold up. And then former Mayor Cedric Glover, he has relationships there, and for whatever reason, he is pushing against it.
Mario, he will say, and you'll hear Councilwoman Lavette Fuller, you'll hear others say, it harms that neighborhood, and and they only point to, look at I-49 that's come through other parts of the city. To the west of it is decay. To the east of it is growth, and they're saying you're just doing it again, and why would we do it?
Aaron, we can say that. We can also look at facts, and of course the government always does everything to do studies. It drives me nuts because we'll study something to no avail. But when I drive down south on 49, I drive around Alexandria. I drive around Natchitoches. And the only place that we go to in Natchitoches is that French Market gas station. The only place we go to in Alexandria is Eddie's Barbecue. Mm-hmm. So imagine if the interstate went through Alexandria and through Natchitoches, the explosion of the city that it could be. Look at Dallas and Houston. You drive on the interstate through Dallas and Houston, those cities have exploded because of the thoroughfare through the community. So when I look at it, and I'm from Los Angeles, I'm from California, we had elevated freeways where we would go through the neighborhoods, and it was nice, it was manicured, and we would get off the off-ramps and we would go to local restaurants, we'd go to the gas stations, we'd go shop there, the malls are right there on the interstate. We would frequent the other cities. So to say that there's an argument that it would decay or further ruin the community, I just don't think it's right by looking at not studies, not piece of paper, but life.
Mm-hmm. Let me add to that. Mario is correct. Look at Lafayette. They had the same issue that we did. They were studying around. The people said, no, we're going through. We're going through because it will help economic development in there. They have been laying out and planning for I-49 to go through Lafayette now for, I know, at least 10 years.
And the same here, to be honest.
Well, more than that.
Yes.
I got the money for the study 13 years ago.
What do you say, though, to those 1,700 families? Are they going to be better off when they are relocated? Is that your hope?
What 1,700 families? My understanding, the study said it was 52 structures that this...
And that's it?
That's what the study says.
So there's not 1,700 families any longer.
I brought the map to show, and a lot of those are abandoned. A lot of them are adjudicated. Right. So
it's a bunch of malarkey. And let me say this from a standpoint of a black leader and representatives who've been dealing with this now probably over 20 years. Mm-hmm. Is that I am tired of hearing about these so-called black neighborhoods. It was a black neighborhood before the Fair Housing Act. You can live anywhere you want if you can afford it. So this thing about black neighborhoods, and that's the other thing about black neighborhoods, when you identify something as black neighborhood, you get less economic development, you get less policing, and all of this. So it's time out for that type of thinking.
Mr. Roy, at the end of the day, isn't it going to come down to African American leaders like you convincing a whole bunch of woke white guys in Washington that it's not racist to build that road?
Well, I don't know. I don't know how they're going to think, but I think that the perception is that, and it's true, that many of these superhighways have gone through traditionally black neighborhoods, and it has disrupted a lot of the activities there. But now I don't see that, especially in this, because 2/3 of it is already built. and we're only talking about a mile. We're not talking about 3 miles. We're talking about a mile. And if it's constructed right, you can actually have economic development. You can have a business corridor along there. And I don't know of anything better than to catalyze economic development than hundreds of millions of dollars coming into an area.